Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I have a super fun reverse color along for you today. We will be coloring out of Magical Dawn by Hanna Karlzon, and we're going to color this page, page 46. Meet me on the other side and we'll get started. This page, I just recently completed it. You might recognize it, you might not. But this is the page I used to demonstrate how to color the Prismacolor Blue Sky background. So what I will do is put a separate link in the description for how to do the background. We will not be covering that in this video. It was covered already in the other video. So just so you know, if you're new to this video or this process, I'll put a link there so you can see how we did that. Now, this page has a lot going on. And you can see here from the cheat sheet, y'all, we have 18 colors. But don't panic, I've got your back. And I promise these combos are really easy. I didn't take an established palette like I usually do and just work with those 4 or 5 colors and then add white, cream, and black like I normally do. I was just grabbing pencils out of my pencil case. I do think it turned out really pretty. I love the color combos. They're sort of unusual, but I like the way the colors pop. And yeah, so we'll get started. Now, I did do something different for this page that I think y'all will be excited about. So I have received some very generous donations on my coffee account. And I took that money and I bought a second copy of Magical Dawn. So for this reverse coloring page today, I will be coloring the exact same page. So normally what I do for my reverse color alongs is I might color the opposite page and just show you how to create the combos. But today I'm going to color this exact same page. I did this because this page is complicated and I think it would be hard to translate it to something else for y'all. So I didn't want to add any confusion. Also, if you're new to my reverse color along process, just real quick, a reverse color along is where I start out with a completed page and give you a cheat sheet on how to achieve all the combos and where they go. And then I take those combos and I walk you through the process on another page. But in this case, you're lucky we're going to do the same page. And I will also leave a link to that reverse color along video when I first presented it. You only need to watch like the first 4 or 5 minutes to understand the concept. With that said, we'll start with, we're going to start with the first combo, which would be all the leaves. So let me get those pencils and we'll be right back. The leaves are a very simple 3 pencil combo. It's light green, true green, and cobalt turquoise, which you can see is worn off here. So you can see here, I'm just going light to dark, light green, true green to the cobalt turquoise and blending all of that. And then at the end, I'm taking the cobalt turquoise and I'm doing the outlines. So let's go ahead and get started. And I won't color the whole page. I'll just color these elements one at a time for you. And then you should be able to repeat it across everything else on the page. So here's the light green. Again, I'm kind of making like an L shape here, or like the top, like a triangle shape at the top. And then I'm taking the true green, blending it into the light green, and just kind of coming down the leaf with that. So if I were doing this leaf here, light green at the top, true green right below that, sort of in an L shape below that, and then the cobalt turquoise would come up and sort of in like a semicircle. But this one is kind of hidden under a flower petal. So we're going to take the cobalt turquoise and we're going to go around that petal. That sort of provides a shadow for us. And there's no right or wrong way to do this, to combine these colors. Leaves in nature are not perfect. They're not perfectly uniform in how they are designed and colored. Or maybe they are, I'm not sure. But you see so many variations. So what I'm doing now, I'm going back in and I'm darkening up this light turquoise. And I'm going up into, if this page bows up a little bit, I have to hold it down. Let's see. Going up into the That's the true green. Okay. And because I'm doing this quick, I'm not going to be able to get all of these little spots on the page. So now I'm going to take the true green, and the true green I'm going to color down over into the cobalt turquoise, and that helps blend that together really well. And it's such a pretty combo. I absolutely love this green combo. I like it because the cobalt turquoise anchors it with a bluish color that's so pretty. Lastly, we'll top it off with a light green. That was pretty easy, right? You feel like you can do that? I believe in you. Now the last thing we'll do is we'll take the cobalt turquoise, and I'm just going to go over the outline here. And now a leaf is done. So let's take a look back at the page. Let me zoom out. You can see the green is on all of these leaves around the flowers. I also use the green here, the exact same combo inside this flower. And then you can see it's also here on these little flower bud things. So you will see that combo. I just wanted to demonstrate it here. But next we'll move to this flower, and I will color a petal in the inside, and then I'll show you how to do that. So let me get those supplies and I'll be right back. This is what I'm referring to when I say large flowers for this combo. So you can see these petals have a lot going on. It's actually a 5 pencil combo. We're going to use Deco Pink, Cadmium Orange, Processed Red, Dahlia Purple, and Black Grape. So let me get the page and we'll get started. So we're going to go ahead and color this petal right here. We're going to start out with a Deco Pink. And again, that's just going to be the very tip of the flower. Then below that, we'll have the Cadmium Orange. Right now I'm just sort of blocking in where I'm going to put the color. Processed Red. Then we have the Dahlia Purple, which this is one of my favorite purples in the Prisma set. But I'm going to just kind of go right around these little areas here because those will be Black Grape. And you can see I'm kind of bringing up the purple just a little bit more into that Processed Red. Okay, now for the Black Grape. And this can get tricky going in and out of these little tiny details here, but just go slow. You've got this. I'm even going to bring the Black Grape kind of along the edge of that petal there to imply a shadow. All right, now I'm going to just darken that a little bit. This is what I call the ugly face. So, you know, when you're coloring and stuff just doesn't look very put together, that's the ugly phase. So now I'm going to bring the Dahlia Purple back down over into the Black Grape to start blending that. Now you see how there's a very marked difference between the Dahlia Purple and the Processed Red. So I'm going to lightly bring more of that purple up to make it blend a little bit better so you don't get like a hard stripe there. Doesn't matter though, it'll still be pretty if you do. I think my page, you can see the stripes. Processed Red is next. And again, we'll do the same thing. We're blending the Processed Red down into the color below it, which is the Dahlia Purple. And then we're going to go, after we get that blended, we're going to lightly go up into the next color above, which is the Cadmium Orange. And so by pressing harder up to lighter going up, that will help you get a really pretty blend. Cadmium Orange, again blending down into the Processed Red. And then as we come up into the Deco Pink, we're going to be a little gentle up here at the top. And then the Deco Pink will be the final part of this petal. Blending that down into the cadmium orange. So there you go. That was pretty easy, right? Not too scary. I know it's 5 colors. That feels like a lot, but that's all there is to it. And what you can do, let me zoom out for you real quick. Hang on. You can see looking at these petals, like on some petals, they're way more purple intense, and on some, they're like up here, there's way more orange. So just vary it up. Don't worry if like you go too far with your purple on one and not far enough on another. I think that's what makes it look really pretty. All right, next let's tackle the center of the flower. I realized that on my cheat sheet, I don't have this combo. It's really 3 colors. It's Deco Pink, Blush Pink, and regular pink. So I will be sure to add that down here in the corner for y'all as an afterthought before I publish this on YouTube and you have it on your cheat sheet. So let's go ahead and try to color that real quick. So what I'm doing, I'm going to go dark to light in the middle. So I'm going to take the pink and just color that along the outside of the flower, maybe like a third. And don't worry if you get that in the middle, you'll be all right. Next, I'll take the blush pink, which starts lightening it up as we come forward towards the center. And in the very center, Deco Pink. Okay, so now you can take the regular pink and darken that up a little bit more to add a little more contrast to what's going on in the center there. And bring the blush pink in just a little bit more there. And there you go. So now you have the center. That was super easy, right? So just 3 colors, dark, moving to light as you go into the center. Next, as I said, we're going to use the same green combo here. I know these are petals, but I colored them like leaves because I like the way that the colors looked against this. So again, I'm just doing, you can see here, light green at the top, true green, oops, cobalt turquoise at the bottom. And I'm actually doing it on all of them. I just randomly picked these 3 for some reason. Okay, going back up with the true green. And then light green. The last thing I did on these little leaves here, or petals, oh, I'm getting a little sloppy there out of the lines. I used the cobalt turquoise and drew in the line. There you go. Okay, the last thing we'll do are these little dots. Let me get those pencils, I'll be right back. So on these dots, I'm coloring it to try to make it look 3-dimensional, like maybe they're raised little spheres on the center of the flower. So it's just 3 colors. It's Deco Pink, Dahlia Purple, and Black Grape, which is this combo here. And we will use, and I put on here on the cheat sheet, small details all over the page. You will see this 3-color combo and a lot of the small details across the page, and I'll show you those as we go. So let's get that going. So what I'm going to do is take, let me color some more Deco Pink in there. I'm going to draw a circle with the Deco Pink, kind of like that. Then I'm going to make a C shape around it with the Dahlia Purple. Right, you can do that. That's easy. And then the Black Grape will just be an outline along the edge. And then coming back in with the Dahlia Purple. Maybe moving up a little bit more. And at the very end, taking the Deco Pink and coloring a big circle. Just kind of blending it all together. Now, one thing when the page is done is I also took my white Posca pen and put a little white dot at the top, and that helps complete the illusion of it being 3D. So I did this for the bigger circles, and for the smaller circles, just Dahlia purple. Just keep it simple. There's no way I'm going to be able to, with my old eyes, make those look 3D. I can't even color in the lines this morning, y'all, so. All right, there you go. So even this one I'd probably do Dahlia purple. But I saved this for the bigger dots here. I think that's it for the large flower. So let's move on to the next flower. I'll be right back. There's only 3 of these on this page, and I'm referring to them on my cheat sheet as large flowers too. Just 4 pencils, Deco Peach, Blush Pink, Pink, and Cadmium Orange. You can see it's a real simple combo, easy to blend. So let me zoom in and we'll get started. All right, for this combo, like I said, we'll start out with the Deco Peach. In the Deco Peach, I will color along the edge, just like we did with the Deco Pink here. We'll do the Deco Peach along the edge of the flower petal. Next up is Blush Pink. Then we have regular pink, getting a little darker as we move in. And again, just like down here we colored with the Dahlia purple around the stamen, we're going to do the same with the pink. Color it kind of around that, but not quite inside there. And then cadmium orange, we will go into the center and around the stamen here. Sort of darken it up a little bit. See if I can do this. Again, be careful along those little details. Okay, so it looks like a burst of color coming out of the center of the flower. Now we'll take the pink. We're going to go back over the cadmium orange and start pulling the pink up the petal. Next is Blush Pink. Again, just really blending that through the pink below it, pulling it up probably a little higher than we did at the beginning into the Deco Peach. And you can see these colors all blend beautifully together. It's really easy to get a nice smooth blend with this combo. Deco Peach to finish it off. And there you go, easy peasy, right? Okay, let me get the pencils for the stamen and I'll be right back. All right, for the stamen, you'll find the color combo here. Stamen for flower 2, large flowers 2, flower 2, there you go. Just two pencils, Dahlia purple and black grape. So Dahlia purple at the top. And then black grape at the very bottom. Real easy. And there you go. And you'll just repeat that throughout the rest of the stamen. And then your flower, again, will look like this here. It'll be really pretty. Okay, next we're going to move on to this flower. So let me get those pencils and I'll be right back. So for these flowers here, it's a real simple 3-color combo. I've called it small flowers. It's Deco Pink, Lavender, and Processed Red. So let's get started. All right, this one is super easy and it's a really pretty combo. So we're going to take Deco Pink, the top of the flower, So again, with all of these flowers, we're just going light down to dark. And then the lavender. In the new set, so lavender has been discontinued, and I always fail to mention that in my videos. I'm so sorry, but I did put on the sheet that the new replacement pencil for lavender is orchid. So if you have the new set and you don't have lavender, it will be orchid. And also as a reminder, I will put a color conversion chart for other pencil brands on the cheat sheet packet on my Ko-fi account for you guys. And I'll have a link to that in the description of this video. So if you don't use Prismacolors, don't sweat it. I've got your back. And then now we're using processed red at the very bottom. Don't worry if you go over the little circle because those are going to be Dahlia purple, which are dark. Now we're going to bring the lavender / orchid down over the processed red and then go gently up into the deco pink up here at the top. And there you go. Now I've got my Dahlia purple. And again, at the very end, when I do my embellishments, I will put a white dot in these with my Posca pen. Now the center of the flower is easy. Process red, and then wait for it, Dahlia purple. So I tried to stick to similar colors as much as I could to keep it simple because like I said, there is a lot going on this page and I wanted to make it easy for y'all to follow. Okay. So there you go. So that is this third flower combo here. Next we'll come back and color one of these little buds here. These little flower buds follow the same combo that we did for large flower 2. Over here. Let's go ahead and get started with that. So we're going to start out with the Deco Peach. Then move to Blush Pink. Regular pink. Oops, I missed that petal. That's okay. And then the cadmium orange at the bottom. You can see how that, by adding that little pop of color that's darker and brighter at the bottom, just really adds a cool effect for your flower. Okay, let's go back up with the pink. Blush pink. Oh, sorry, I didn't use blush pink, I just used Deco Peach. Blush pink, let's do that again. Deco Peach at the top. Okay, let me do this real quick. And then in these little 2 parts behind the center of the flower, I just used regular pink because it's going to be darker. And then the orange, cadmium orange. So here's another place where we have these 3 colors. Deco pink. Dahlia purple, black grape at the very bottom, and then using just that Deco pink, we'll blend it all together at the top. There you go, easy. Next, we have the leaf. So again, it's our leaf combo. True green. sorry, light green. Starting to get all these color names mixed up. True green, and then cobalt turquoise, which again, that implies like a little bit of a cast shadow from the flower bud above it. Back with the true green. And the light green. And then I'll also bring light green here, true green, cobalt turquoise at the bottom. Just sort of blend that out. And there you have the little flower bed. Okay, next I think we can start on our butterfly. So let me get those pencils and I'll be right back. We've colored butterflies before on other pages, and when I color them, I like to almost have a luminous effect to them to make them look like maybe they might be glowing a little bit from within. And you can see that I'm doing that here on these parts of the wings. So what we're going to do is start with this section and this section. Those are the same 4-color combo. And on this page, I've noted Butterfly Combo 1 because there's 2 combos. So Butterfly Combo 1 will be on the outside here, and even down here, the outside on this butterfly. I color these as similarly as possible to make it easy for y'all. So let's go ahead and get started on this guy. And let me zoom in, I'll be right back. All right, we're gonna start with this section at the bottom. So this is a real simple 4-color combo: sky blue light, light green, light aqua, and cobalt turquoise. So I'm going to start with the sky blue light here around the edges. And we're gonna make it go light to dark this way into the butterfly. And what I like about this combo is it sort of pulls in some of the colors from the sky, a little bit, makes it really pretty. So now I'm starting to sort of arch the light green into this area here. And maybe bring it down just a little bit more into the sky blue light. Next we'll have the aqua. Okay. Bringing that down into the light green a little bit. And lastly, we've got this cobalt turquoise. And this is the tricky part because we have to tuck it in between these little frilly, feathery kind of features on the butter. I don't know what those are called, but whatever those are, that's what we're doing. And that part, that can get a little tricky. Okay, so again, I've got a stripe, so I'm going to gently pull some of that cobalt turquoise out into the light aqua a little bit. I'm trying to make this darker in here. All right, I think that's good enough for now. Now we'll take the light aqua, start blending that out and blending it down into the cobalt turquoise. And again, sometimes it's hard to get around these little details here. So now I'm pulling the light aqua down. Don't worry that it's almost covering all the true green. We're going to take care of that in a little bit. But we just want to make sure we have a nice smooth transition. Okay, next we'll take the true green, bringing that down a little bit further, but I'm also going to blend it down here, pressing harder, coloring and blending it back into the light aqua, down into the cobalt turquoise. So what we ultimately have left is this little bitty corner down here that will be the sky blue light. All right, I'm gonna try to bring a little more light aqua up here. Really try to get a better blend there with my colors. Lastly, we have the sky blue light, which is a very, very light, probably, I think it might be the lightest blue in the Prisma set. It's one of my favorites. Okay, and there you go. So bringing that back down over the whole butterfly there. So that's it. You can see how that gives us kind of an illuminated effect, going from really dark and vibrant to something very light. So now we'll do the same thing up here. I'm going to turn this just a little bit to make it easier for me to color. So now we're going to start out with the cobalt turquoise, and I'm only going to color one side of the butterfly to keep the video at a reasonable length. But it's the same thing. You'll be able to see whatever we do on this side, you do it on the other side. Light aqua. Light green. And again, we'll have the sky blue light at the very end. Go back with the cobalt turquoise, darken that up. Might even bring it up a little bit further this time. Again, making it sort of light into the light aqua. Now with the light aqua, we're going to blend down into the cobalt turquoise. Same thing here, I'm feathering it up into the light green. Bringing the light green down into the aqua up here. And then lastly, the sky blue light. And just blending that all around in here. Okay. Next, we're going to do this section here. In that section, we're going to put the light green away, and we're just going to use sky blue light, aqua, and cobalt turquoise. So we're going to take the cobalt turquoise here. Okay. And then the light aqua. Bring that down. And then the very bottom will be sky blue light. So now what we'll do here is we'll come back and darken up the cobalt turquoise. Right along that edge. Let me start on this side. Okay, so now I'm going to feather it in here to the light aqua a little bit more, so it's not such a harsh line. And that's hard, but again, don't worry about it if you do get a line. Light aqua, let's go back through the cobalt turquoise. Really blend that together as best we can. And then we're going to feather that down. And by feathering, I just mean color lightly. Down here. And then the sky blue light. We'll blend it all together. And there you go. So now you can see how we're starting to get that illumination effect. Now I'm going to put down the sky blue light and pick up the true green. True green, turquoise, and cobalt. True green, light aqua, cobalt turquoise. And we're going to do this section here. It's just a very little bit of the cobalt turquoise. A little more of the light aqua. And sorry, I said true green. I meant light green. My apologies, you guys. And then the light green here. Okay, so you can see that's really pretty. So these are just variations of combos on the same 4 pencils, right? So I think that's it for those colors. So now let's do the accents on the butterfly, and then we'll color the middle part together. So let me get those pencils. I'll be right back. Did y'all automatically grab the Deco Pink, Dahlia Purple, and Black Grape? Again, we're using these for lots of small details. So here we're going to treat the shape like it's vertical instead of that way. We're going to treat it like it's this way. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head until I said it out loud, and then it didn't make as much sense. But just follow along and you'll see what I'm doing. So I'm putting down Deco Pink at the top, Dahlia Purple in the middle, Black Grape at the bottom. Again, now we're bringing the Dahlia Purple back up, and we're going to gently feather that into the Deco Pink above, which we will use in just a minute to blend it all out and make it really pretty and smooth. Okay, so now Deco Pink. All right, and there you go. Now we're also going to use those 3 colors here. I'm going to put Deco Pink in the middle, like a highlight of this little arch. Dahlia Purple to the side. And this one I think I'll just do all Dahlia Purple. Black Grape down in the little bitty corners. Okay, Dahlia Purple again. And these little elements usually go pretty quick. And then we use the Deco Pink to just sort of blend it all together, and it gives a nice little highlight effect on that. Now down here, looking at my little reference page, sorry. I'm grabbing my cadmium orange, coloring in these little circles, making them orange. Then Dahlia Purple for these little teardrop shapes. So like there are places, like I said, where I tried to keep it simple, just doing a straight color. And then here, we're using our same 3 color combo, and we're doing the little circle effect we did here, where we're taking the Deco Pink, and then the Dahlia Purple. It gets harder to do on these smaller ones, smaller circles. Out using the Black Grape for the outline. Back with the Dahlia Purple, and then again the Deco Pink to just blend it all out together. For this section here in the middle, I'm taking Sky Blue Light, Light Green, and Light Aqua. And I'm going to color these in here. Sky Blue Light at the top, then a little light green, light aqua at the bottom, and then we'll take Dahlia Purple here in the middle. Now for these little teardrops, I did Deco Peach, Cadmium Orange, and Processed Red. So I apologize that not all these little detail combos are on the cheat sheet, but here I'm calling them out to you. Hopefully that will help, I hope. Please don't be mad at me. The older I get, the less I am good at having good attention to detail sometimes. So I get forgetful and I forget things, so bear with me. So again, we've got that Processed Red, the orange, and then we're bringing in the Deco Peach at the top. You could even probably use a Deco Pink. And that might actually be what let me get that. I think that's what I did. I'm looking to the right at my original page to make sure I get these details right for y'all. Okay. Next, let's work on the outline and then the body. Okay, on the body here, I'll come back and we'll do the detailing at the end with the outline because that's black. So bringing down the Cobalt Turquoise. I just grabbed the wrong pencil there. There we go. Then the Light Aqua. And then at the very bottom, we'll have a little light green. Sometimes when I see these butterflies, I panic a little bit thinking, what if I don't use the right color combos? Or what if I choose how do I know which colors to choose? There's so many little details. How do I make sure they go together? So you can see here how I'm just sort of repeating different variations on the same pencil combo. Now for the gemstone here, remember, so Hanna gave us a highlight in her illustration. The highlight is always on the darkest side of the gemstone. So we're going to take Cobalt Turquoise around that. And then Light Aqua. And then at the very bottom, so the lightest part of the gemstone will be opposite of where your highlight is. And again, at the very end, and I'll point these out too with the Posca pen. I took a Posca pen and went right over that to bring out that white highlight. Now let's get our favorite 3-color pencil combo for these details here. Deco Pink. So listen, if you can't remember what combo to use, just pull this 3-color combo. You're probably gonna get it right. And even if it's not the same one I used in the same place, it's going to go really well with these other colors. So we'll call this the Panic combo. I don't know what to do, so I panicked, so I'm going to use this combo. Right here, we're going to color around the gemstone. So I'm doing the Deco Pink here. Then I'm going to bring the Dahlia Purple around the top and the bottom. Black Grape. And then the Deco Pink to pull all that together. Same thing for these little guys around the edges. Oop, I got a little, hang on. My Deco Pink's getting a little muddy there. Deco Pink. Dahlia Purple. And then you can almost just use the Black Grape to do like an outline around the outside of this gemstone to give it that depth. And then lastly, the Deco Pink, just to kind of blend it all together. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take I'm going to use 2 color combos for these little feathery trails on the, I don't know if that's the tail of the butterfly or what you would call that. So we're going to use Deco Pink, Dahlia Purple, Black Grape. Oops, getting out of the lines. It's early in the morning. If anything, it just shows you I'm human. I color out of the lines all the time. So what I'm trying to do is like every other one with this combo. And I won't color all of these, I'll just show you. Uh-oh, whoopsie. Then the other combo we're going to use is Deco Pink, Process Red, and Dahlia Purple. So you can see here, we'll use the Dahlia Purple, Process Red, and then Deco Pink at the bottom. I had to stop and use my eraser because I was really getting out of the lines there. Okay. There you go. So now here we'll use Dahlia Purple again. And you can see how these 2 color combos against each other are really pretty. Process Red, Deco Pink, okay, so that will be repeated. Use any combination of those 2 combos through the rest of these little things here. And oops, I just smeared cobalt turquoise there. Okay, lastly, for the details, I'm using black. And I'll speed this up because this will take a little bit to color. Okay, there you have it. We've got our butterfly completed. So like I said, you'll just take what we did on this half and do it over here. Just fill in these little frilly things with the same thing. The stars behind the butterfly, I just did in variations of purple. Let me show you here. Let me zoom out and I'll show you. Okay, the stars I did in variations of processed red and dahlia purple. And where I chose to put that kind of depended on what was going on with this petal here. So this star crossed over the dahlia purple section, so I made it processed red so it would stand out. This is processed red in the background, so I used the dahlia purple so it would stand out. And then out here, I just sort of mixed it up. At the end, I tried to use a Posca pen to outline the stars in white. And remember, the Posca pen is going to pick up that pinky purple pigment from the pencil. And so your white lines might turn a little light pink, but that's okay. I didn't let that bother me so much. So next we will tackle the other butterfly and then the bugs. And I think that will be it. I'll be right back. This butterfly is going to be very similar to what we just did. So grab the same 4 pencils we just started with: Sky Blue Light, Light Aqua, Light Green, and Cobalt Turquoise. So I'm going to start with the Cobalt Turquoise right here. I'm coming up, it looks like about 1/3 of the way. That might have been a little too far, but that's okay. Bringing in the turquoise. And the light green. Lastly, the Sky Blue Light. Now we'll darken up the Cobalt Turquoise. Bringing the light aqua down over the Cobalt Turquoise. And then going lighter with it as I move up the butterfly wing. Now the light green, we're going to do the same thing. And get kind of light with that as we get towards the edge of the wing. And then with the Sky Blue Light, we're going to blend that over the light green. Really get a pretty blend there. Now on this section here, instead of going, light to dark that way, I'm going light to dark up this way. So let me turn this just a little bit. Make it easier to color. Actually, let me start with I'm going to bring the Cobalt Turquoise. I'm going to bring it kind of around these little details here. Actually, sorry, let me feather that out a little bit. Okay. Turquoise. I keep saying turquoise. I'm sorry, guys. Light aqua. It feels turquoise to me, but it's light aqua. I should know this. This is my favorite pencil. I don't know why I'm calling it the wrong name. All right, light green. And then at the very bottom, Sky Blue Light. Let's go back to the top with the Cobalt Turquoise and start to darken that up a little bit. And again, we're going to go a little lighter as we move away from the cobalt turquoise. Now the light aqua, and we're going to blend that up into the cobalt turquoise. Really blend that out. I just love this combo. I think it's so pretty. Trying to make that a little bit better blend. Blah, blah, blah. I can't English this morning. Light green, sky blue, and maybe I went too far with the light green right here, but that's okay. Not going to worry about it. Let me try to make that a little better. Okay, so there you go. There's that section. Now the next section we're going to do, I want you to put down the light green pencil. We're going to color right here like we did on the other butterfly wing. Okay, I'm going to come just below that, a little bit lighter. Now comes the light aqua. And then the sky blue light. So these combos really are pretty easy once you break them down like this and work with them one at a time. Again, I'm just kind of going slow around this little ridge of half circles. If I go too fast, I know I get them in there. Get the, I'll color in there without realizing it or meaning to. All right, light aqua. Again, going over that darker color. Trying to smooth out and get rid of any of those little white spaces. And then coloring lighter as I come down. And finally, sky blue light, the very bottom. Now, while I have these pencils, I want you to pick up the light green and drop the sky blue light. We're going to go ahead and color the gemstone in the body here. Oops, just got out of the lines. Coloring this exactly the same way we did the other butterfly body. Okay, now for the gemstone, drop the light green, pick up the sky blue light. Same thing, here's the highlight. That means this is the darker side of the gemstone. You zap that real quick. Okay, that's really pretty. Next, let's get Deco Pink, Cadmium Orange, and Processed Red. We're going to color these little half circles here and here. Oops, and you could be careful because you can see I picked up a little bit of the cobalt turquoise there. And that's going to muddy my Deco Pink pencil just a little bit. Same thing I just did there. Let me try zapping the cobalt turquoise, see if I can do better. And then process red. So since this here is kind of tucked in, we'll just use the process red only right there. But process red will kind of be just like a line against this illustration line. You'll just draw a reddish pink line there. And then it's just at the very bottom of that little circle. Again, it just adds the implied shadow. Cadmium orange. Oops, okay. Lastly, use the Deco Pink to color it all together. Not perfect, still have some cobalt turquoise in there, but if you back up and look at it, it's okay. So we're going to use the same combo on this little dot here. Deco Pink. Cadmium orange. Process red. I forgot one little circle here with the same combo. Deco Pink. Cadmium orange. Process red. Now what I want you to do is get our favorite detail combo, Deco Pink, Dahlia Purple, and Black Grape. And now we're going to make our little detailed circles. We will color those with this combo. So again, I'm coloring about 40% of the circle with the pink. Then I'm bringing in the Dahlia Purple around that, just kind of making a letter C. It's harder on this little bitty circle there. The Black Grape will just be like an outline at the bottom. Think of it as like you're putting a smile on that circle, just a little smile at the bottom. Then we'll blend that in with the Dahlia Purple. And lastly, the Deco Pink to just blend it all together. Okay, now we're going to do this section here. And this will be, we'll start out with the Black Grape. Bring in the Dahlia Purple. And this purple, or these purples against like this orange is so pretty because, hello, complementary colors. And then the Deco Pink at the bottom. So we will reinforce the Black Grape up here at the top. Make that a little darker. The Dahlia Purple. And now we're going to blend it with the Deco Pink. Easy peasy, right? Let's turn this back around here. And we're going to do the same. Black grape. This is exactly how we colored this little jeweled section on the other butterfly. Dahlia purple. You're going to be saying this in your sleep after you color this page. Black grape, dahlia purple, deco pink. All right, there's that. Next, we will do the same we did here with a deco pink on the side of the circle. We'll put dahlia purple in the corners and black grape at the top and the bottom. Blend that with the dahlia purple and then the deco pink. And now we will carry the deco pink. Oops, hang on. I can already see I've got cobalt turquoise in here. It's gonna have the same effect that we had before. Okay. Deco pink. Just do your best. None of our pages are perfect, right? That's right. And then that black grape, again, is just an outline along the outer edge of that little circle there. And I think if you think of it that way, it makes it a little easier. And then lastly, the deco pink. Just blend it all together. And there you go. Now, once again, we're going to have this combo on these little tail feather thingies. Clearly, I don't know my butterfly anatomy. But I think tail feather thingies is probably a highly scientific term. Try to use that in a sentence today. Okay, black grape. So we're just making it darker up here at the top. Then blending the dahlia purple in with that. Bringing that down. Right? And then we will do the same thing with processed red, dahlia purple, and deco pink. And we'll do that next to this one here. Start with the dahlia purple. Processed red. Deco pink. One last place is this little, to color, is this little half circle here. Deco pink, dahlia purple, black grape. There you go. And last, we've got black details to do. So I will color in the black and speed color that for you. I lied to you. In the interest of time, I just colored it off camera. So I put black in here. So this little butterfly on the eyes, it's got like a line right here. So I just colored the bottom part and left the top part empty, which we'll cover up with a Posca pen. I colored here, around here, got this little area, and then around the outside. So I realized then that that left two places we didn't color. So get your light aqua, and we're going to color in this little circle here, solid. And then here, we're going to do sky blue light. light aqua, and cobalt turquoise at the bottom. And you know, you don't even have to do your page exactly like mine. You can take all these combos and apply them differently if you like, but you've got the basic building blocks with the combos. Okay, next, let me get some pencils and we're gonna come back and color one of the little bugs. Next, we're gonna color this sort of ladybug right here. So get our blue combo, cobalt, turquoise, light aqua, and sky blue light. And we're going to do the same thing, and I'll just color the top half here, again, in the interest of time. Coloring just carefully around these little circles. So what I tried to do was keep the same blue combo I used on the butterfly with the little bugs. There's two little bugs, then we have like a little, I guess it's sort of like a moth at the top. We'll color that too. But again, it just kind of made it easy to just kind of limit my palette to these combos and not have to get inventive with, oh, this bug needs to be a different color than the other bug. No, I just color them all the same. Maybe then they look like a bug family. Maybe they're all related. I don't know. Do you think they argue around the table at Thanksgiving like a normal family? I don't know. Okay, there's that. So now we're going to take the sky blue light and I'm going to do the top of the bug's head and this little circle here. Take the light aqua and then the cobalt turquoise. Just be here at the bottom. Now what I did here in these two similar circles, I just used the light aqua because it's too tiny to try to get a blend in. I'm sure with a very sharpened pencil, I could probably do it with a lot of patience, but that's not me today. Next, you'll want Deco Pink and Process Red for the little circles. Just two colors because these circles are small. So again, I'm just making like a letter C or a smile face with the Process Red. Now on the little circles, I'll just color it in with Process Red. And then I'll use the Deco Pink to try to blend it together. Last, we have black. And we're using black here. And then for all the bug antennae, whatever, and legs are black. All right, and that's the ladybug. Next, we'll move on to the bug in the lower right-hand corner of the page. I'll be right back. Same blue combo. We're going to start out dark and go to light. We're going to do the same thing with the bug head. Now take Process Red for this little section here. Light Aqua for the little bitty circles. Okay. And then black for the rest. So we'll do the, see the two sections on the eye, so we're just coloring the bottom with the black. Okay, this again with the antenna. And the bug legs. And there you go, that's bug number 2. So lastly, we will cover the moth at the top of the page, and then I think we'll be done. All right, so again, we're going to, I'll just color half of this. So I'm going to start out with our favorite blue combo, again, for all of the butterflies and bugs. Sky blue light. And I'm not worrying about the fact that there's 2 sections. I'm coloring it like it's 1 section. Light aqua, and then we're just going to tuck some cobalt turquoise in here. I'm coloring this upside down, so it's, when I actually colored this, I flipped the page over so I could color it right side up. So for this video, I'm kind of coloring it upside down, so I have to take pause a little bit and look at my page off to the side to make sure I'm doing this right. So don't mess it up for you guys. And don't forget to sharpen your pencils in between the stuff you're coloring. You have much better control of your pencil with a sharp point. Okay, lastly, the cobalt turquoise. Here, this is kind of a tiny space. We're not going to get a huge blend in here. And you can see with this tiny bug, I'm not getting a lot of layers in, maybe 1 or 2 at the most. It's tiny, so it doesn't matter. So there you go, those same 3 colors. Next, let's get our purple combo. Deco Pink, Dahlia Purple, Black Grape. This is definitely challenging me upside down. We're gonna make it. It's gonna work. All right, awesome. Now let's put the same combo in here. And then also around the outline. these little circles. I guess there's just 4. And you can see how I try to tackle the same color combo elements at the same time. It just sort of speeds it up a little bit if you can identify, here's all the places I need to use this combo. Maybe it goes a little faster, maybe not. Now what we're going to do is color the body. And we're going to kind of do the outline. This is a little different than we did the other bugs. Okay. A little turquoise. Oh my gosh, I did it again, turquoise. Light aqua. Sky blue light in the middle. So we're going to really darken this cobalt turquoise around the outside. And this makes it feel a little three-dimensional doing this. Lastly, we have black, which we will apply here. Oops, okay, we're going to color this, but we'll color his eye with the Posca pen, just a little bit. This is actually blue. So get our blue combo. I think that's it. So now what I want to do is get my Posca pen and show you how I did some of the highlights. Let me get that and I'll be right back. Okay, the first place I did Posca highlights was on these little dots here on these flowers. So I just took the Posca pen and tapped a little dot there. And I did that on all of those flowers all over the page. By the way, this is a 3M bullet shaped 0.9 to 1.3 millimeter Posca pen. Then I took this section here where we colored these circles and just put a little dot on all of those circles. And you want to put the dot where the pink is at the top. And again, that would be, you know, if you completed all of these circles, you would do it on all of those. The next place I added Posca was I put multiple dots up here in the stamen for these flowers. Okay. Then on this guy, I actually outlined his body. So we'll do, oh my gosh. Not sure what Mr. George is doing, but he's doing something in the garage. I'm sorry if y'all can hear the noise. And then I'm outlining here on the wing. Again, doing this upside down. This is testing me today, y'all. Then I did come over this illustration line here. Let me come over this again a little bit. Okay, so that's all the outlining I would have done on that guy. Next, on the butterfly, I outlined I'm looking back and forth at my original page, so I apologize for the delay. I outlined the main body here. And then on these little feathery things, I just went over the black line. It won't be perfect. You can be neater than me with yours. You get the idea. So I did that. And then when I colored the stars, I actually outlined the stars with white. So again, remember the stars are Gonna either be Dahlia Purple or Processed Reds. Just color them and then outline those in white. On the ladybug here, just dabbed a little white dot there. Sorry, back up on the butterfly, I put a white dot on top of all of those little circles. So pretty much anywhere there's a circle, I probably have a white dot. And then on the gemstone, we'll just color that little, like that, whatever that little highlight is. We'll do the same thing down here on this butterfly. Color the highlight. Put white on the little circles there. We'll outline the body. And then again, we're going to outline these little feathery things. And you might require a second, going over it a second time to make sure that white really covers the black line art. On the bug eyes, one thing we didn't do, so where we left the little white space, take your Posca pen on all those little bug eyes. Down here, I use the Posca pen. White lines there. Get these bug eyes. Up here, we'll just add 2 dots since those were solid bug eyes. Okay, I'm looking back and forth. I think that's it. I think those are the only places I applied the Posca highlights. Let's look at the original page. So yeah, you can see I've got the white highlights on every little dot. Just again, it's a little dot, 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 just a real light dot. Here's where I outlined the stars. And again, this Posca will pick up the pigment from the purple and the pink, and it might turn your white line pink. Don't worry about that. You can see here's the feathery outlines, outlining the body here. Oops, it looks like I did add white there. Maybe there. Yeah, it looks like I did. But, just whatever you think looks best. But those are the places I added the highlights. Yeah, I think that's it. So that's it for this page. I will put the cheat sheet out on my Ko-fi account for you guys with the packet with the color conversions. I think that's it. I'm just kind of indecisive, trying to make sure I didn't forget anything. But I do. I think that's it. So I hope you enjoy this page. I hope you try it. If not, I hope you take these color combos and try them on another page if you don't have this book, because they're super fun and they go really well together. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.